crews were about to face impossible odds. They were the only thing standing between the Syrian army and the heartland of Israel. Their stand would go down in history, not just as a legendary battle, but as another moment where the inexplicable would tip the scales. They were about to enter a place that would forever be known as the Valley of Tears.
In the southern Golan, a single Israeli armored brigade, the 7th, found itself facing the bulk of the Syrian invasion. It was a scene from a nightmare. One Israeli commander, Avidor Kalanani, looked through his periscope and saw a sea of Syrian T-62 tanks advancing toward him. For every one of his tanks, there were at least 10 of the enemies. For 4 days and nights, a brutal, relentless battle raged. The Israeli crews fought with a desperate ferocity, firing, repositioning, firing again, knowing that every tank they lost brought the enemy closer to their homes and families. They fought until their ammunition ran low, until their tanks were damaged, until they were exhausted beyond human limits. Kahalani's radio crackled with the voices of his men, their fear mixed with a grim, almost surreal humor, a hallmark of people in impossible situations. They were fighting and dying, but they held the line. And then, on the 4th day, the Syrians mounted their final massive assault. Hundreds of tanks, a seemingly endless river of steel, began to advance, determined to finally break the Israeli defense. Kahalani had only a handful of operational tanks left. This was the end. He knew it. On the radio, he heard the commander of another unit, his voice breaking, say, "I can't hold on anymore." It was at this moment of absolute despair that the story takes another strange turn. Later accounts from Syrian tank commanders who were captured described a bizarre and frightening phenomenon. As they advanced, they did not see a handful of battered Israeli tanks. Through their sights, they saw a much larger force. They reported seeing hundreds of tanks, appearing as if from nowhere, maneuvering with supernatural speed and accuracy. They believed they had stumbled into a trap, that the Israelis had a massive reserve force they knew nothing about. They called them ghost tanks. The fear and confusion created by this phantom army was palpable. The Syrian advance slowed, then faltered.